Thanks for joining us for episode 2 of our February series on kindness. So, this week, before we start, you're going to need a couple things. The first is your February workbook. Looks like this, and we're on episode number 2. As well, you're going to need your bag that says week number 2. Everything that you need is in this bag. All right, let's get started. So our theme for the month is Superfan, cheering each other on. And last week, we talked about being kind to others because God is kind to us. We met our new friend Belle, and we talked about the importance of being kind to others. Kindness is showing others that they are valuable by the way that you treat them. Last week, we talked about how people want to be around people who are kind. Do you remember our object lesson with the pepper and the soap and the sugar? Speaking of people who are kind, I've enjoyed spending time with my new friend Belle. So let's see what she's been up to this week.
Oh, hi, I'm Belle, and I love sending fan mail to people who I really love a lot. Sending fan mail is important to me because it's important for my favorite people to know exactly how much that I love them. That's showing kindness. Kindness is showing others they are valuable by how you treat them. One way we can show kindness to others is by writing letters to people we love the most, people like our parents or our siblings. But have you ever noticed that sometimes it can be harder to be kind to people that you are closer to? Me too. But as you'll see in today's story, sometimes the people you are closest to are the people who need our kindness the most. Let's see what Pastor Mariah is doing.
Thanks so much, Belle. This week, we're learning all about kindness. And to help us remember what we learn each week, we have a point of the day. Point of the day is be kind to your family and friends. This can be a tough one, eh? Sometimes it can be hard to be kind to those who are closest to us. Those in our family, our brothers and sisters, they see us each and every day. They see us when we're in a good mood. They see us when we're in a bad mood. They see us when we're having a good day or a bad day. And sometimes our siblings, they can maybe get on our nerves, and we might even be tempted to be unkind to our parents when they tell us, maybe it's time to go to bed or it's time to get off the iPad. And so sometimes it can be hard to be kind to those closest to us. So today's question of the day is just that. With those around you, you're going to discuss, why do you find it's hardest to be kind to those who are closest to you? I'll give you a couple minutes to discuss, and I'll see you in a minute. I hope you had a good chat. So let's go over our Bible verse. As I mentioned last week, it's a bit of a long one, but we're going to go through it together. Let's read it. It'll be on the screen. It's found in the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 12, and it goes like this. You are God's chosen people. You are holy and dearly loved. So put on tender mercy and kindness as if they were your clothes. Don't be proud. Be gentle and patient. All right, let's read it one more time. You are God's chosen people. You are holy and dearly loved. So put on tender mercy and kindness as if they were your clothes. Don't be proud, be gentle and patient. So this week for our Bible verse activity, in your bag that says week number 2, you have a Bible verse. It looks like this, and it's in a plastic bag. And it's a puzzle that has the Bible verse on it. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your grown-ups to hide all the pieces around. And you're going to have to find them, and then you're going to have to make the puzzle to make it so you can see the Bible verse. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple minutes. You can pause this video and take as much time as you need. But remember, you're going to want to save this Bible verse because you're going to need it again in week number 4. Okay, so when you're done with it, don't throw it away. Save it for week number 4. Are you ready? On your mark, get set, go. All right, are you guys ready to play a game? So like I mentioned last week, this month has kind of like a sports theme to it. So we're going to be having a competition all month long. Last week it was cup stacking. This week it's pom-pom launch. So in your bag, week number 2, you have a couple things. You have a white paper bag like this, so you're going to open it up. You have a bag of pom-poms and you have a spoon. So what you're going to do is you're going to set your bag up a couple feet away from you, okay? Not too far. And you're going to take your spoon and you're going to open your pom-poms, and I'm going to put a timer on the screen for 1 minute. And you're going to put your pom-pom in your spoon like this, and you're going to launch it like a catapult. And you're going to see how many pom-poms you can get in your bag in 1 minute. All right? Are you guys ready? Start now. All right, how many pom-poms were you able to get? I only got 605. No, I'm just joking, guys. All right, let's go to our Bible story. So today we're going to be talking about showing kindness to your family and friends. But this is more specifically to your family. And so we're going to be talking about a story found in the book of Ruth. So can you guess who our story is about today? You're right, it's about a girl named Ruth. You guys are super smart. Okay, so Ruth had a family, okay, so she had like a small family. So she got married and her husband had a sister, and her sister-in-law had a husband too, okay? So 2 husbands, 2 wives. And then the 2 husbands died, okay? So then there was just Ruth and then her sister-in-law, Orpah, which is a strange name, okay? So Ruth and Orpah, they didn't have husbands. And then they had a mother-in-law named Naomi, okay? And guys, Naomi's husband died too. Isn't this so sad? This story is not starting out great. It's sad. So you have Naomi, who's the mom, and then you have Ruth and Orpah. And so when the husbands died, Naomi decided that she was going to go back to her homeland, because where she was a place called Moab, and they were kind of going through a famine. And so she knew that where she was from, Bethlehem, they had lots of food. So she said, Ruth and Orpah, you guys go back to your families, to your moms and dads, and they'll take care of you. So Orpah said, that's a great idea. And she went back to her family. But Ruth said, Naomi, I'm not leaving you. She said, where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'm going to stay. I'm not going to leave your side. And so Naomi said, are you sure, Ruth? Because you really don't have to. She said, no, I'm sticking by your side. So they both decided to make the trip to Bethlehem so that they could get food. So they made the long trip, and when they finally arrived in Bethlehem, they were starving. Obviously, it's a long trip, okay? But they were in luck because it was the middle of the barley harvest. And so in Bible times, what they would do is farmers would collect all the grain from their field, but they would leave some behind for those who really needed it. People who couldn't afford food, people who really needed it. And so Ruth was like, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to find us some food. And Naomi said, I remember my husband, he had family that owned a field here. And so maybe if you go there, you'll be able to collect some grain. It's owned by a man named Boaz. So that's what she did. She went to the field and she started collecting all the leftover grain that was there. And so in the middle of the day, Boaz came out to his field because he was like checking it over and he wanted to see what was going on. And he noticed Ruth there. And he asked his field manager, he said, "Who's that lady?" And he said, "Well, she came into town with Naomi and she's picking up the leftover grain." And Boaz was so impressed by how hard Ruth was working that he went up to her and he said, "You know what, Ruth? Why don't you pick from the places in the field where there's plenty so you don't have to work so hard? And then if you get thirsty, you can drink from our water jugs," which was a big deal, right? So that's what Ruth did. She picked up all the grain that she could, and Boaz even gave her extra food. He gave her bread and all kinds of things, and she brought it back to Naomi. So after this, Ruth continued to go work in the fields, right? And so one day, she asked Boaz, she's like, "Boaz, why are you being so kind to me? You don't even know me." And he said, "I'm so impressed by how kind you're being to your mother-in-law." Because she had no obligation, because now the mother-in-law's son that she was married to, he was gone. She had no obligation to her mother-in-law, but she stuck by her. And she fed her and she was with her. And so Boaz was so impressed by this. So Ruth continued to work in his field for the rest of the season. And even though Ruth was working very hard, it was still hard for two women who had lost their husbands to eat, to have a house, to survive. And so Boaz, during all of this, he ended up falling in love with Ruth. And so he went to like the people who were in charge of the town and he said, "I'd like to buy all of Naomi's land." And then he would give her the money. And then he said, "And I'd also like to marry Ruth." And so they talked amongst each other and they're like, "You know what, Boaz, you go ahead." So he married Ruth and they had a baby named Obed. And Naomi lived with them. And so through the kindness of Ruth, through being kind to her family, Naomi had a new family, a new house, and a new place to live. And she had a new family that she could be with, even though she had lost her family. And so that's what we can learn today from the story of Ruth and being kind to your family. So let's see what Belle's been up to while we've been telling our Bible story.
Wow, a lot of kindness was being shown in Ruth's story. Boaz was kind to Ruth, and Ruth was kind to Naomi, and through them, God was kind to us all. Kindness really does matter, especially when it comes to the people we are closest to, like our family and our friends. But people we are closest to are also the people that it can be hardest to be kindest to because they can get on our nerves, right? But even despite that, we should tell people we care about them and show them kindness always. So here's one thing to remember today. Be kind to your family and friends, and maybe write a couple letters to your family and show them how much you love them. Bye!
I can't believe that we're already done our second episode on kindness. So before we go, let's review what we learned today. So the point of the day is be kind to your family and friends. It's really important to be kind to those who are closest to us. And our Bible verse, Colossians 3:12. You are God's chosen people. You are holy and dearly loved. So put on tender mercy and kindness, as if they were your clothes. Don't be proud, be gentle and patient. Don't forget to fill out all the blanks in your workbook for episode number 2. And the challenge of the week is this. Do at least one unexpected kind thing for each person in your family. Don't tell them what you're going to do. Just do it unexpected. Surprise them with a random act of kindness. And when you do, write it down in your book. Thanks for joining me today for Mighty Kids at Home. And I hope that I can see you guys next week. Bye!